Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is gonna be about flowchart, what are flowcharts, and I'll be showing you a very simple and a very basic example that is also present inside the UiPath documentation portal of flowcharts only. That will be a number game. So I'm just explaining the same example over here guys. Okay, so flowchart is used as a workflow. It's a type of workflow which is used in a complex UiPath projects. Today's project is not going to be anything near to complex because I'm just using a very basic example from the UiPath documentation portal. So you can say that flowchart is a type of workflow that is used in a very complex scenarios where logical decisions are made. Very a high logical decision making is involved. For example, you want two decisions, right? If it's yes, so what will happen if it will be yes, and if it's no, then what will be happening if it's no, and again if it's no, then why it's no, yes, no, and that will branches will be going on. So this is regarding flowchart guide, very simple and very layman terms I have let you guys explain. So let's see this with the help of an example. So we are today making a number guessing game that is also present in the UiPath documentation portal. I've already told you, you guys can check it out from there as well. But I'm giving you a video explanation over here, right, of that flowchart, because we are just understanding flowcharts to understand state machine, right? State machine doesn't use flowchart, but it's like it's more or less the same thing. It's not the same thing actually. So guys, we are learning flowcharts because we need to learn state machines in future, and which is used in the RE framework. State machines are not related to flowchart, but the structure is more or less, you can say, the same. Not, it contains some states, right? And this doesn't contain states. This just contains simple arrow like activities over arrow like this structure, and it will be joining to the activities, right? And there we can use a flow decision or a flow switch to check whether this thing is yes or this thing is no, or this thing is true or this thing is false, or this thing is present or this thing is not present. And inside of these that activities, we can encapsulate more branches, and the flow will be going on. Flowchart is nothing but a flowchart. Yeah, it just represents a flow where it's used in a very complex UiPath project, right, where logical decision making is involved. Simple language guys. Okay, we can use it in a simple workflows as well, but it's like more or less used in the complex project. So let's start with example. Okay, so we need to perform a random this guessing game, number guessing game, right? So what we'll be having two numbers. One will be the random number, which will be generated by the workflow, and one will be the guess number, which will be generated by us in the runtime, as we'll be using the input dialog activity, which will be asking us at the runtime to provide any input. Okay, let's get to it. Let's first generate the random number. Okay, so let's go with an assign activity. I'll also let you know what is the syntax of it to generate a random number. Let's give this random number name guys. Okay, let's 1 second. Okay, so I'll just start it from scratch. Random number. Okay, this is random number, and now we'll be using this new random dot next, and then I have to give the range. Then inside this range only it will be generating any random number. For example, I'm not taking too large, I'm just taking 1 to 10. Okay, save. So this is what, this is a int32 variable. Let's change this to int32 guys, and let's go with the right line activity just to check that whether our this thing is random number is going right or not. You can see that there are 4 arrows coming out of these activities, right? So what it shows, if I'll be going over here, it will be putting my activity on the left side of it. If I'll be going here, it will be putting my activity on the right side of it, right? So we need a linear process right now. So let's go with this is the best way. Okay, let's go here and let's go with random number dot to string, because we need output as dot to string. Okay, we'll just check it that it's working or not. Let's run it 1-2 times. The first time number is 6. Okay, and the next time it is 5. The next time 2. Okay, so it's coming out right. So this is random number. Let's give it a name, random number generation. Okay, but let's go with an input dialog. We can use an assign activity also here, right? But I want it to be inputting it at the runtime. I want my number to be input in the workflow at the runtime, so that's why I'm using an input dialog. Okay, so I can say number game. Okay, and I can say that please enter the number to be guessed. This was not inside string. Okay, and we can give this as a guess number. Okay, let's quickly see this. Guess number will be of in 32 as well, because this is a number. Okay, we have some error. Okay, string was not provided. Okay, so now we have done. We have 1 second, I'll just quickly rename this activity. Guess number from user. Okay, so we have used a random number variable. Inside of that we have used this random function to generate any random number. This is the syntax of it I'm using. You can use it this like this also. Okay, just 1 second. You can use like this as well, 1 to 5. This will be more easier for us to understand. Okay, so what we could do now, see, this number is generated, our guess number will be generated at the runtime. Now what we can use, there is an activity inside flowchart called flow decision. Just place it over here. What it does, it checks that whether a condition is right or a condition is wrong. It's just like an if activity. Okay, so there are two things over here, true and false. So I'll have to use this in a true section and use this arrow for the false section. Okay, so what we can do, let's go with an assign activity. Sorry, let's just first generate a condition over here. Let's imagine that our guess number is equal to our random number. Okay, so the condition, you can, if you will just hover your mouse to it, so it will be showing you the condition as well. Guess number equal to random number. So in this scenario, our workflow is showing us guess number equal to random number, means the number that I have guessed is equal to the random number that is being generated by the workflow. Pretty easy. Okay, what we can do, we can just use message box, and we can use here like this. And if I'll just quickly enlarge my workflow like this, so you can see, so you can, the arrows can be like this as well. Okay, no worries, it's not mandatory the arrow should be straight only, it can be like this. So it's true is what, when the number is correct, when we have guessed the correct number. Okay, so let's go with it. Number guess correctly. Okay, this is easy. Okay, let's assign another message box to the false. Now see, if I'll be using like this, number guessed incorrectly. Okay, 1 second. So what will happen, it will be showing as the answer. Let's run this. Okay, let's do it. It's debug, right? Okay, so it has generated a number. Let's watch the locals panel. We haven't used the breakpoint. Okay, it's asking for an input. Say with 2. So it said that number guessed incorrectly. Okay, now the workflow ended. Now this is not a typical example of flowchart. See, flowchart means that we have used a logical decision operator over here called the logical decision activity over here called the flow decision, but it's not working properly. It's just like an if condition only. So what is the use of this flowchart? Where are the branches in the flowchart? Let's see to it. For example, if we guess the correct number, so it will be showing us number guessed correctly, right? That is fine. If we are guessing the wrong number, so it should be what? It should be going back. It should be going back to the input dialog to ask us again. So what we can do, we can use like this. Take the arrow from this here and put it like this. So it's like a loop. Now it's totally connected, closed loop. Okay. Start, random number got generated. We guess the number from the user at the runtime from the input dialog activity we just provided. We check the condition that whether the guess number is equal to random number. If yes, it will be showing that the number was guessed correctly. If not, it will be showing that the number was not guessed correctly, and it will be again going to the input dialog. Let's see to it, and let's put a breakpoint also over here. Okay, just for future references, because we just need to see that what is the random number generating. Okay, so random number is 0 right now. Let's go. Random number is 2. Okay, and let's go with 3 just to demonstrate this closed loop. Okay, now it went here. So step into going here. Number guessed incorrectly. Now see the beauty of it. What it did, it just transferred whole control over to the input, because we have now complete the loop, close the loop with an arrow. Now this will be going here. It's pretty simple, guys. This arrow is marking over here. So this is a flow chart. That's why it's called a flow chart, because it contains a type of flow. You can see. A layman will also understand that this is a type of flow chart. Okay, because see, we have a flow, right? We can understand the flow. This is going here, this is going here, this is going here, this is again going here, this is again going here, and coming back to this, and this thing is on a loop. Okay, but we don't want like this actually. Let's close this program. What we need from it, sorry, okay, this was faulted, no worries. What we can do, we can, if the number was not guessed correctly, see, if the number was guessed correctly, it's okay, it's showing that message box the number was guessed correctly. Okay, but if the number was not guessed correctly, what we can do, we can use a message box. Okay, the number was not guessed correctly. Let's number was not guessed correctly. Okay, okay, and now what we need another flow decision to check that if our number was not guessed correctly, and it will be going again to this input dialog loop. So whether the number is greater than it or smaller than the random number. Okay, so let's go with another flow decision over here. So let's go here like this, and now here we'll be providing that guess number is greater than the, that this is a condition, right? Okay, see, if the guess number will be greater than the random number, so we'll be saying that it is too big for us, right? What we can do, we can use a message box. Okay, and we can say too big number, try again. So try again. Okay, so it will be showing us this, that the number was too big and is guessed incorrectly. It should be incorrectly. 1 second. Okay, so we were at this, we wrote too big number, try again, if the guess number was greater than the random number. Okay, so we'll go here, the guess number is greater than the random number, then it is too big number, try again. Now if we are writing try again, so we'll have to connect it to the input flowchart, input decision, input dialog activity, right? So what we can do, we can go like this also. Okay, but we can do like this also. 1 second, we can do like this. We can do like this as well. Okay, just shift these here so that we get a small room for our workflow, because this is looking a bit hodgepodge. Yeah, now this is looking cleaner. Okay, so if the number will be too big, what we can do, we can try again, means we have to again input the number and check this will be flowing like this, and again if the number will be greater, again it will be going here and checking the condition. Okay, now if it isn't greater, so let's go with another message box over here like this. It will be showing too small number, sorry, I didn't use too small number, try again. Okay, now again I have to connect it to the input dialog, because we are trying again means we are inputting another guess number over here, right, like this. So now our workflow is complete. Okay, this you can find in the UiPath Documentation Portal as well, but I am giving a much more clearer explanation. This is very simple, guys, by the way. Okay, so now let's just run this. See, if it isn't greater than, it is smaller than, right? So now let's run this with the help of a breakpoint and step into activity. Okay, so the random number has been generated as 4. Now let's provide the guess number 3. Let's go with 3. Flow decision, and it went, obviously that it wasn't entered correctly. Number was not guessed correctly. Okay, now again it's coming to the flow decision. Now it's checking that our guess number is greater than the random number or not. In that case, it's smaller than the random number, because our guess number is 3 and the random number is 4. So it will go here, and here was too small number, try again. Okay, now we'll again, the control will go here to the input dialog, right? And now we can go with what we can go with 5. Okay, now this message box will go here, because obviously it is not correctly inputted. Okay, number is not guessed correct, guessed incorrectly, and it's going here because it's too big now. It's bigger than the random number. Okay, too big number, try again. Okay, guess number from user, again input dialog is being used. Now what we can do, we can use the same number called 4. Now as it will be checking this condition, which is guess number equal to random number, so it will be going here and exiting the workflow, because after this nothing is that, right? After this we don't have any activity, don't have any arrows protruding out of it, right? So guys, this is a very basic example of a flowchart. Trust me, the flowcharts can be very complex, but because of these arrow and the flow, you guys can understand that how we make the flowchart. Okay, it's pretty easy. Please practice this as much as possible. Okay, it's very useful, and it narrows down the complexity in a project if you are using a this flow decision or any logical decision making activities inside your workflow. Okay, so guys, this is a very small video on flowchart, and thank you so much. If you like the content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, keep learning.